You might have noticed that people with small vessel cerebrovascular disease aren't included in the stroke register, and this means they don't automatically get offered antiplatelets or statins. There's a good reason for this. Whilst both of these conditions describe a disease process affecting the blood vessels of the brain, their underlying mechanisms are very different, and this is why their management is so different. Classic cerebrovascular disease happens when a plaque ruptures or a blood vessel bursts. These are sudden, violent events, and the body responds by urgently sending platelets as a quick fix. Antiplatelets are useful here because they dampen down the platelet response a little bit, preventing blockages. Small vessel disease describes a much slower process, where the walls of the arterioles become weak and leaky over time. Much of this can be clinically silent, and it's often picked up incidentally on a scan, and most elderly people will have some element of small vessel disease as a consequence of getting older. Small vessel disease causes tiny microhemorrhages which affect parts of the brain. So historically, there was a concern that using an antiplatelet here could make these hemorrhages more frequent or severe. But there actually isn't much evidence to back up this theory. The SPS-3 trial compared dual antiplatelets to single antiplatelets following a stroke affecting a smaller blood vessel in people with an evidence of small vessel disease. The dual antiplatelets were no better at preventing strokes, but this group doubled the risk of hemorrhage. There is a research gap for single antiplatelet use here, but this creates an ethical dilemma, as it's difficult to argue in favour of exploring single antiplatelets in this group when at a deep level it doesn't feel like it would be likely to help them. Instead, we're better off addressing clearer drivers of small vessel disease like high blood pressure and diabetes. The patients with small vessel disease will probably qualify for a statin on their Q risk alone, but you might be wondering if statins have specific risks or benefits for small vessel disease. There were concerns that statins might increase the risk of hemorrhage, but this was disproven by a Danish study published in The Lancet in 2019. Using a statin in small vessel disease can reduce the risk of major hemorrhages, reduce the risk of a first stroke, slow down white matter progression, and reduce the risk of vascular dementia. So it's definitely worth considering a statin for these patients. There's a bit of debate about whether we treat to primary or secondary prevention targets. The evidence is a bit limited either way as things stand, but to me the vast majority of patients would be fine with primary prevention targets. Those with extensive small vessel disease or with other significant risk factors like difficult to control diabetes may benefit from tighter control. But remember that these unusual scenarios are where specialists can guide us. No stroke specialist is ever going to tell you off for asking them about this, and if it means we're getting the balance right for the patient, that makes it all worthwhile. See you next time.